Welcome again. My name is Gwen Garrison, and with me is
Aliana Guzman.
And we are here to introduce you to a new Claremont Graduate University program, a Master's in Education and Educational Evaluation and Data Analysis. We very much appreciate that you joining us and taking the time out today for this introduction to the program. We hope in this little webinar that we're doing to convey to you the inspiration behind the program, the details of the program, and then the prospective job outlook that's going to happen, and then some admissions requirements that are needed to be in the program, and then we'll close it up with some Q&A from you. We do have the chat box functioning going all the way through, so do go ahead and place your questions in, and we will take a pause and answer them as we go. We've got a small group, so we can accommodate that format today. So the focus of the webinar today is to grow your skills and understanding in educational data. And as you look at this slide, you'll see that on the right-hand side is really the kind of context for education systems today. There's a lot of them on your campus, in your school systems. In the canvassing that I've done with school leaders, there's up to 50 that the IT folks are managing, and some of you have multiple logins to somewhere between 10 and 25 systems. What we're trying to do is often the information comes out, as you can see in the top left, in tabular formats. They can be by the person, and we have information such as performance on test scores, maybe some demographic information like where they are in their grade level. We might have some additional kind of how you track them in a particular course, or also what is the education the experience level of the educator that's in the classroom. And these are coming from various different systems, and we're all trying to make sense of it and how to actually advance on the questions that are pressing to our schools and campuses today. So we've turned in the last 10 years to business intelligence tools that provide graphics, and the bottom left graphic shows you some of those kinds of new graphics that have come online that people are trying to use and harness to make sense visually of the information. So our agenda today is to introduce you a little to the faculty of the program, what the context is we are now working in education evaluation, and what our value proposition in the master's degree program, what the job outlook and career path is for these kind of positions, and then the next steps and some Q&A. So let me introduce you a little bit to the faculty. Myself, I will be teaching many of the core classes that you will find in governance and data management. I come with 25 years of experience in this arena working in industry, and I actively maintain my consulting business even as a faculty member here and with the permission of Claremont Graduate University, so I can maintain my relevance and bring the very core problems that are facing campuses and schools to each of my classes as a perspective to keep you relevant in the program. Joining me will be Dr. David Drew, who really is our stats coach extraordinaire in the School of Education. He makes those kinds of information and tools very accessible and builds capacity for our students. He has a background in STEM, and he also is very interested, and we talk often about our mutual interest in data science. Also, Dina Maramba is joining me, and she's focusing on qualitative analysis. That's giving the capacity of people to do focus groups and interviews, observational analysis on campuses and in our classrooms. That will be a core skill that will be important to go forward in these positions. Around and through all of that project is we have other education faculty who will provide a core context to the problems that are facing our campuses and schools. And that context is very important to understanding how you frame data research and evaluation questions. Will also be joining with me is many of our local practitioners. These are people who are living the data life every day and who are helping to try to solve problems and do data storytelling in their schools and campuses. This is just another slide to show you about how many different systems are pressing on any kind of education setting today. There are learning management systems like Canvas, there are student information systems like Banner, and even homegrown systems. And then there are course delivery systems like Coursera. So the current context is that everybody has an interest or a research kind of question. If we only could get the data to tell us something about this problem that we're facing. Often the data comes off of what we call our operational systems, those systems dedicated to tracking student information or managing the learning experience online, or even tracking the educator's response and experience that they have. If you're really lucky in a lot of these settings, you end up having or being a part of a team that has all of this coming into a repository, or often called a data warehouse. But that takes time and real effort to make it happen so the data is pristine and clean for analysts to use and answer questions. Most of the time, as there's a few of the arrows that you see on this particular slide, is that everyone is asking for those questions, and sometimes you're grabbing data off the operational system and you're just trying to make sense of it, but it needs a lot of tweaking before you do that. Or often you need to kind of sling data together from various systems to answer these questions. So what we have put together for this Masters of Education and EdEval and Data Analysis is that we're taking in the orange circle, we're taking the operations data, and we're taking the archive data if you have it, and then we're adding to it the skills, the tools, the framing experience you need to have, and then trying to find the answers and do good data storytelling. What we need in our schools and campus settings now is really good data storytellers, and that starts with the analyst who is making sense, understanding the context with people that they're in, and then bringing that information back to the very areas that they are trying to make a point with and bring information for better decision making. So what I like to refer to this often is they're connecting the dots between various different points and trying to do that with inside of the systems that they work in, the context that they find themselves. The master's level is 32 units. It is 8 units of quantitative and qualitative methods because we want you to have a solid foundation in those. Then there are 12 units in what we call education data context. This is an introduction to the key language, framing, privacy, policy, data systems, and data management. All of these are core pieces to the analyst position today in the educational setting. And then we have 8 units of electives. And we want you to take advantage not only of the education faculty, but even throughout the Claremont Graduate University to find something particular that you could be working on and have the valuable connection to a Claremont Graduate School experience with that faculty. Finally, we want you to pull it all together and have a 4-unit clinical practicum where you'll be supervised by me and we'll be working on real-world problems, solving those in schools and in campuses. So you will be able to connect with those people and those campuses, understanding their settings, and then bringing your skills and understanding back to that particular place. It's designed to be completed in 12 months. If you're a full-time student, and 2 to 3 years if you're part-time. We are very much working on a hybrid model with a face-to-face, so there will be some experience where you won't be coming to campus, you'll be working strictly online, and others will meet together and debrief our experiences together, taking advantage of the peer-to-peer kind of connections. This particular slide shows the layout that we have for all the courses and a short description of when they're going to be offered through that. And so you can see how you might experience and be able to finish it in 12 months. We'll make this available, so if you're squinting at your screen, you'll be able to get a copy from Ileana if you contact her, and we'll be able to give that to you. So one of the questions that I've received is, what's the value proposition of a Claremont experience and this particular degree? Consider that there are so many degrees out there right now that are attempting to do the very same things that we are. So let me tell you what is important and unique about our educational evaluation and data analysis degree. The first is, if you were to do this degree in a business intelligence setting, or often those are done at business schools, the context would be business setting itself, marketing analysis, customers, supply chains, bottom line kinds of problems that you're trying to figure out. You're harnessing the tools that are common in the business arena, and they're doing what I call rapid analysis. And they're not really looking at it with the same intentions we do in education. You could also kind of do this degree, but lean on the information or IT technology side of things. There, the focus has been of late large amounts of data, or we call big data, which is about volume and velocity of the data is coming. It's really trying to develop machine learning and artificial intelligence, or AI, kind of in the background to solve these problems, because they're dealing with so much and the volume is so high on the data points. And they're really trying to master the data architecture. So it's really a back-end kind of degree. Ours in EdEval is we're trying to leverage the unique aspects of education environments. That is, it's about students, it's about our schools and campuses, it's about our teachers and our faculty, it's about effectiveness in those settings. We're trying to evaluate and assess all of the different programs that we are trying to do to make student achievement and our workplaces places that we very much enjoy and want to be, and successful. So we believe that by taking bits of these other parts and bringing all together with a dedicated focus on education, we are bringing the very best points in this degree program to help the people in those areas.
I do have a question here.
We're going to pause for a question.
So Kathleen is asking if we can touch on the difference between this program and other evaluation programs at CGU, for example, the psychology for developmental psychology and evaluation.
You want to take that? You want me to take it? Okay, so I'm going to take that. So Kathleen, thank you very much for the question. I've spent a lot of time with Stuart Donaldson over at the Center for our Claremont Evaluation Center. And I have, when I was a long time ago, part of the evaluation program here at Claremont. Evaluation is unique in that it is looking more like an outsider into if a program is effective, and it's using all the very best tools to understand if that program achieved the kinds of things it set out to achieve. The difference between this program is, and where I really experienced needs as a hiring manager in my own career process, is the person on the inside who is faced with volumes of data off of lots of systems and trying to get things staged and ready for an evaluator to come and look at those things. What I have found in my career is that the internal side of systems were not prepared to work with those evaluators in a way that I hope we can change by using our degree program to really build the capacity in the system. So I hope that answers your question, but follow up with another one and I'll keep an eye on the chat box there. So going on to the jobs outlook and the career path. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics indicates that through the next decade, a little more, that these jobs, these analyst positions are going to grow between 23 and 27%. And that's much faster than other occupations that they're tracking. And the Bureau tracks over 800 occupations. So this is really remarkable that these positions are going to grow. So the entry level for these positions are an assistant or associate research or data analyst. Often that's how you would go and look for them. The starting point for the career is between $46,000 and $70,000. And right when I was doing and preparing for this talk today, I found 330 positions on LinkedIn and a complimentary set on Indeed, and 22 in education here in the LA Basin. And by that I mean, somewhere from San Diego through Santa Barbara, kind of the large basin work, because many of you are in various locations here. So that's where we believe you would start. With this degree, it would help propel you to the mid-level of this career path, and that would be a senior analyst, an associate director or director in education analytics and insights. The salary level for these positions are between about $75K to $100K, and there was about 75 jobs on LinkedIn and 4 in the immediate area that I could identify this week. The career path then tops out at the senior level. You would be, the titles of these positions would be a senior director or a vice president of research, policy, planning, or decision support. They direct research units, often overseeing ethics at their organization, privacy, compliance, and data governance programs. These levels are between $120,000 to $200,000 in salary. There are roughly 10 jobs on LinkedIn nationwide right now, and a lot of those are, when you're at that level, there is often an executive search process that goes on in order to find those kinds of right people for the right context in those settings. So now, I don't see any more questions. I'm going to punt to Aliana, who's going to talk to you about the admissions process.
Yes, hello everyone. So thank you to Dr. Garrison for all this information. So if for those who are interested and are wondering what their next steps would be, I will start by going over some of the application deadlines. So if you are interested in fall 2019, there is still time for you to apply. The final application deadline for domestic students is August 15th. However, for those that are really interested in the program and are serious about applying, we could possibly grant you an extension beyond August 15th. Courses do begin the first week of September. However, if you are interested in spring, the priority application deadline will be the first week of November, with the final application deadline being January 6th. Courses will start the last week of January, that being January 21st. I will go over a little bit over the application process, the application requirements. So what we require is for you to complete the online application form, which you can find at cgu.edu. There is a $80 application fee. I would recommend that you try to make it to a campus event, because a lot of times we do give students application fee waivers when you attend an information session. We do have fall open house coming up. That will be in the month of November. We also require that you submit a personal statement. There is a specific format for that, which is on our website. However, if you want me to send that to you, I'm more than happy to email it to you. We also require that you submit a copy of your resume or CV, copies of your transcripts, and 3 letters of recommendation. I will let you know that for the MA degree, we do not require the GRE, which makes the process of applying a lot easier, because you don't need to prepare for the GRE, register for the GRE, or anything like that. So if you're interested in fall, you still have time. I do see a question here. Would fall 2019 be the start of the first cohort for this specific program? So yes, this fall will be the start of the first cohort for this program. To answer your question, some tips and advice for the application process. Typically, we recommend students to apply early, just because you get to have priority application review. You have time to maximize your fellowship awards. It gives you more time to meet with the financial aid office and meet with myself to discuss your fellowship award and other fellowship opportunities. For international students, they have more time to go over visa application requirements. If you're looking for on-campus housing, it gives you more time to visit our campus center and meet with them and get a tour of our campus facilities. And then it gives you more time to see if the program is the right fit for you. It gives you more time to come to a campus event, meet with faculty, schedule a meeting with Dr. Garrison if you wanted to schedule a one-on-one meeting. It gives you more time to get your letters of rec, statement of purpose, and then for you to stay connected with us. But if you wanted more information, more specific information about the application process or the application requirements, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email. I'm more than happy to meet with you or go over the application process. At this point, we will take any questions, any additional questions you may have about the program or the application process, if you have any.
You want to read?
Yes. So we do have a question from Kathleen. It says, what type of background do you think it's necessary to get most out of this program? For example, is it targeted more toward current educators, administrators, or data analysis people?
So I would say the number one thing I'm looking for is someone who's interested in data and has a interest in making a difference in their settings and is really a team player and a collaborator. So those kinds of things are the kinds of temperament and the kind of know-how around it. So you can't be afraid of computers, you can't be afraid of spreadsheets. But I recognize a lot of people are not coming with a lot of those skills, but if they have kind of the temperament and the kind of inspiration for doing this kind of work, we're going to get you to where you need to be competitive for those jobs.
We do have another question. If someone wants to work on a PhD in education at Claremont Graduate University and wants an emphasis in education evaluation data analysis, is that possible? At this moment, this concentration is only available for the master's degree. Do you have any advice for those that are?
However, any PhD student can take any of the EEDA courses. So whether or not that we can actually make it part of a graduate dissertation process is still yet unfolding. So you could stay tuned and encourage you to apply.
Yes, I think this is where we benefit. So we do have various different concentrations. However, we do have a PhD in education that you can pretty much self-design, at which point you would probably benefit from taking courses from the EEDA program.
Thanks, Con.
And then now we're...
Any more questions? Okay, so keep them coming in, but we're going to wrap up. So if you like data and you want to accelerate your career in this area and you want to be a team leader by building your data skills, understanding your context, and learning how to tell good data stories, learn more about our education master's degree in a concentration in EdEval and data analysis, you can reach me, and that's my email address is on there, and you can reach out to Aliana. Her phone number is there. She's much better at the admissions questions than I am at this point. So we are working as a collaborative team. You can find either one of us, and we'll be glad to help you out. And I think that's it. Thank you very much for being a part of this webinar today, and we look forward to following up with any of you in the future.